The world as we know it has changed forever. We have to unite more than ever. It has never been easier to connect. Social media is the great equalizer. As we continue to learn from each other, it allows us to challenge our beliefs, turn our fears into action. How far can we go? It's up to us. We have to conquer our fears, crush mediocrity, stay motivated, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. In the think tank, we will never settle for anything less than an extraordinary life. Stephanie, welcome to the think tank.
Thank you, Martin. I appreciate you for inviting me here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You have an amazing story. You're an amazing lady, an amazing person. You're an amazing mom, and you're on a mission. I love that. You are on a mission.
I am. I am.
You have a podcast, Free to Love podcast. You started about a year and a half ago, and I want you to tell the whole story, not part of the story, the whole story of why you started it and your mission.
Right.
Go
Well,
ahead. I'm gonna
well,
let you.
I'll just start out by saying I am a forgiveness coach, a podcast host, a speaker, and author who is now thriving after experiencing infidelity in marriage and being newly single. And in fact, it was the precipitating event that shaped, molded, and was the catalyst for growth in my life. And it continues to be that. So much so that it illuminated my destiny and now is my passion and pleasure to see people bounce back from stressful experiences like infidelity, like childhood trauma, and
Mhm.
forgive the people that hurt them. Because I believe that forgiveness is necessary for people to live out their God given purpose
Right.
and even to find fulfillment in life. And so that's why I help people go from heartbreak to happy. So ultimately they grow and have the power and the passion to be free to love. And so that's my mission.
That's it. That's a great mission. That's a fabulous mission. I know life gives us a lot of experiences, and like I always say, it's in the heartache that we grow.
Mhm.
It's in those painful moments. But sometimes, it's out. We have to go through them. We
Mhm.
can't run away from them. It is what it is. People get divorced all the time. Things happen, but a lot of
Mhm.
people do not bounce back.
Yep.
First, they hold it for years. Like I have a mantra that I talk about all the time. I said, nobody has the right. No, absolutely nobody has the right to irritate me, to piss me off. You don't have the right. No. You give people the right to do what they want to you. You take
That's
that
true.
power back.
That's true.
So I saw your story when I saw you on Facebook and Instagram and I saw what you're doing and then the courage, oof, it really touched me. So I said, I have to get my sister on to tell her amazing story. But let's go back a little bit. You have an
Sure.
amazing family. You got some beautiful young ladies. Oh my God! The last time I saw
Yeah.
them ago, and now they've grown up. So how many you have like two girls and two boys? Is it?
Two girls, two boys, 17, 18, soon to be 20 and 25.
Wow! Aren't you? I said, you're an amazing mom.
That's what I say, wow, because I look at my 25-year-old and I wonder where he
Wow!
came from. I'm like, I can't believe I have a whole grown man.
Right?
But you know what? I cannot take the credit all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Their father is very involved in their lives, and he is the one that helped to instill the discipline
Mm-hmm.
in sports,
Right.
and which spills into life.
Mhm.
So I definitely want to give him honor in that way for sure.
Wonderful. Well, you have a son who's playing college ball, right?
Yes, yes, he is defensive back for University of Minnesota, and yay, we're going to the game this
Oh,
weekend. So they're
wonderful.
playing Michigan, so I'm really excited about that.
That's the great. I'm an athlete. I came to the U.S. on a track and field scholarship, so I follow sports. I'm passionate sport. I still
Yeah.
run. I do all, so I follow college football, pro
Yes.
football, and when I saw you went to the games and you guys had your backpack and then you were doing your thing, I said, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's amazing to see your boys really excel.
And you know what, Martin? Track and field was the foundation for all of my kids' athleticism.
Wow, wow.
Track and field, because they developed that discipline, that speed, that endurance. And
Right.
track and field is, I believe, is the reason why they excel at all their sports.
I tell people all the time, have your kids, if they, excuse me, if they're good in sports, push them.
Hmm.
Because I gotta say, my parents couldn't afford to send me to university in the U.S., but track
Hmm.
and field, I always say, my little two skinny legs got me to my, got me through college, got me to all my degrees, and
Yeah.
which is great. Yeah, sports is a great thing for kids, man. If they have a little talent, push them, because it will take
Yes.
that pressure off mom and dad of having to pay for college.
But I think, even if they don't excel to college scholarship level,
Hmm.
the habits, the mentality of being on a team, I think is so good for kids,
Hmm.
especially girls, because a lot of times girls don't, even though track and field is sort of an individual sport, but what if they get on a relay team?
Right.
I think that sports builds character for life. And I recommend everybody to get their kid involved in some kind of sport. And track and field just happens to be a good foundational sport because
Mhm.
every sport out there, you need speed.
Oh, you need speed and strength. Because
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, I was the best in the island in my little Saint Lucia. I was the best in the island. When I came to
Okay.
the US, I got humbled.
Okay.
So I had to learn.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Learn how to lose, and it propelled me to work harder to get. And
Yes.
I got back. That first year, I was humbled. I came there with a, you're young, you get that big ego hat on, and I got humbled. I mean, I think the first race I ran, I think I got fifth out of seven. I said, wow,
Yes.
and I've never lost before.
Right. Yeah. Both of my sons were redshirted in their freshman year at college because both of them got full ride football scholarships. And
Wonderful.
yes, we have not seen my 20-year-old, soon to be 20-year-old, we have not seen him on the field since high school. So I am so excited about seeing him play,
Hmm.
because same thing. You go to a Big Ten school, everybody is a star.
Yes.
So you have to fight your way, you have to compete your way to earn a spot on the field.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So that, which is wonderful. So I mean, your kids are well grounded. You are well grounded. So,
Well,
but so
God, let me just say, not only track and field, but God is the foundation as well. So
that's wonderful. But
definitely.
you're an amazing woman, and for you to do that with your children, and like I said, like when we spoke a couple of days ago, like I said, the kids are your life. You said, no, Martin, the kids are part of my life, and I love that.
Yes.
I love that portion because
Yes.
you have a life also.
Yes.
You have a life.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So let's go deep in the weeds a little bit on Free to Love podcast.
Okay.
Started about a year and a half ago, and it's going well.
Yes. Yes. Going
Good.
very
Good.
well.
Well, I'm going to listen to a couple of your episodes. I haven't had the time, but I'll make time to do that. But tell us a little bit about it, and then on your mission, why you started it, and where you take and where you want to go with it.
Well, the initial reason was to really talk about taboo topics
Hmm.
and expose topics and issues that plague people at their core, but and they're stuck. A lot of times they're stuck because of these things. As you know, that my topic is really about forgiveness.
Hmm.
That is the core of everything I do. It's about helping people to live a lifestyle of forgiveness because I truly believe that that is where freedom starts, right? Because just about every situation out there, if you really peel back the layers to the core root of issues, what it is something happened, you didn't process it, and you just went on with your life, right?
Right.
And so that whole thing of not processing, whether you ignored it, repressed it, suppressed it, that trauma, if you don't process it, if you don't heal from it, it is alive and it is still affecting your life. And so the purpose of the podcast was to talk about these taboo topics. Season one, I interviewed adult children whose parents committed adultery. Season two, I interviewed survivors of sexual abuse, molestation. And season 3 is about conversations about racism and religion, which, as you know, that's really hot,
Right.
as a hot topic right now.
Right.
And so, but the purpose of it is not just to talk and nag and complain, but it's to offer light. Because I really do believe that, it's by your truth that makes you free. And so there have been people just like you interview ordinary people. There have been ordinary people that come on my podcast that tell their stories, sometimes for the first time ever, and they are set free. They, start on their journey of healing, because it's something about bringing those things to light that were hidden that is very cathartic, and it allows people to really embrace their story for what it was, which was just a point in time, right? And they're able to use that as a catalyst for growth, which is what I do. So when that kind of thing happens after I interview somebody, it's awesome and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, because many people just don't like to tell their story. Everyone has a story. Life
Yes.
has never, I mean, I've had my challenges, you've had your challenges, everybody has had challenges. Life has never been like, like it's never been a steady
Straight
growth.
line. Yes.
It's like a V curve, an upside down V. And we all aspire to have that flat line, but no, it will never happen because there's no growth in that.
That's
I
right.
mean, I hate when I hear what you talk about and the pain that you went through, and to come through it, say, listen, I can help somebody. If all of us did a little bit to help each other, life
Yes.
would be a lot better. Life would
Yes.
be a lot better. So
Yes.
what are your so give me three main points of your of what you actually tell your podcast people. What are your three main highlights of forgiveness? Would you say?
So hold on a second. So what I'm trying to understand what your question is. Are you talking about what are the stages of forgiveness?
Yeah, well, you get where if someone comes to you and I mean, and tells you their story
Mhm.
and say, "Help me. What can you do to help me?" Just I mean, maybe not be a licensed therapist, but just
Yes.
conversational through your experiences and what you went through. If you have three things that you could tell them, what would you tell them to help them heal?
Right. Well, the first step in any transformation is awareness. So you
Okay.
gotta become aware of whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
that is, holding you back, whatever you've repressed, whatever hasn't come to light.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is awareness, and once you get awareness about it, then you get the opportunity to talk about it. So there's that vulnerability. And I will venture to say that, unless and until you're able to be vulnerable about your topic or whatever it is that happened to you, then that really is going to be the level of growth. Say, for instance, um, one of the things that happened with me is that I didn't even realize it, but I had been sexually molested as a child, right? That had been suppressed. I didn't even remember it happening.
Wow.
Okay. But when I became aware of it and brought it to light, I immediately went into counseling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read books, did all these things to overcome. And now, because I'm able to be vulnerable about the topic, I can talk about it now
Right.
and it doesn't hurt me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I think the next step would be to forgive whoever that person is, because most of the times it's somebody that's behind it, right?
Right. Right.
And so whenever you can get to the point to making a decision to forgive, because forgiveness is a daily conscious choice. It's rare that, unless it's some type of minor offense, people think that if they just say out loud, I forgive you, that's one and done, when actually it's just the first step.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I would say, become aware about it, begin to talk about it, whether it's, with a therapist, a coach, accountability partner.
Right.
I would really recommend you talk to someone who's not um, emotionally involved in the situation, so you can get some type of objectivity, and then start to make the decision to forgive whatever that is.
Right. Because what what I know, like for example, I have a friend of mine years ago who was an alcoholic, and he dodged the bullet from, no, I'm not. No, I mean, I have a drink every now and then. No, but you disappear, but you know. Anyway, he finally got to the point where he actually said, I am an alcoholic.
Mm.
He went to Al-Anon, and it's the first thing you said, you have to accept who you are and what you do. And
Right.
unless you do that, there is no way going forward, because like you say, you suppress it, you hide it. So I would imagine that would be the same thing. Someone who has been sexually molested as a child, or even as an adult, married, abuse. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many things that people go through. But once you
Mm-hmm.
accept it, I saw something where this woman, her husband abused her so bad, he actually in jail, and she, even if he was in jail, still not out on bond, she was still fearful, and he was locked
Mm.
up.
Oh
You
wow.
know, I
Yeah,
mean, that's trauma. That
definitely.
is trauma. Luckily, he didn't get any bail, and she actually moved and left the house and went somewhere. She went into a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
But women go through a lot. You have to
Mm-hmm.
leave your home and go into a shelter with your children just to avoid abusive situation at home. You know
Yes.
that it takes a strong person. It takes it, but some people stay in it because of for many reasons. For example,
So many reasons.
if they stay in a home, you have a nice home, and there's a mortgage. It takes two people to have that income come in. Then where do you go? You have a lifestyle. You have your children in private schools, and then you to walk away from that. Then that is just trauma, and that's I think is one of the biggest problems that women face um, with abuse is that they get stuck and they have
Mm-hmm.
no way out.
Mm-hmm.
How would
And
someone?
sometimes people get stuck in dysfunction.
Hmm.
You get, even though it hurts, but you become comfortable in dysfunction.
Yep. Yep.
And that's one of the bad side effects of being in a traumatic experience.
Hmm.
And it takes a lot of work to break out of that mentality, because
Oh.
a lot of times what happens is that people develop a whole identity around being a victim.
Hmm.
So so not only are they being traumatized, they're further traumatizing themselves by accepting this false identity.
Right, right, right. It's just a sad state of affairs when I see that. I read about it. It really touches me because I mean I have no one close to me who has been through that, but I read about it and I say how it's just a mindset of they get stuck in there and they don't want to leave because of circumstances or what their friends with the social society would say that they left their marriage, they left their home, and it's really traumatic. It's really traumatic,
Yes.
you know. So do you actually do counseling to some people also?
No, I am not a counselor. I am a coach.
Just the coach.
Yes,
Wonderful.
I help people get from where they are to where they want to go as it relates to forgiveness. So I
Great.
help people walk through that process.
Good.
Definitely not a counselor.
Good. No, no, no. That's why I just want to clear that so people know that you
Yes,
are a coach, a
I
forgiveness
am a
coach,
coach.
and that
Yes.
is great. Yeah, because it's a lot of times you've been through it, so who knows
Hmm.
better how to, and you've come right through it. And
Yes.
just to the fact that you're still friends with your ex-husband, that tells you your mindset. I can still forgive him because he has his children and be involved in it, but still have separate lives. That's
Yes.
that is and that is the hardest thing to do. But I think a lot of men, if you may, I may ask you, do you find a lot of through your experience of what you hear right now, do you find a lot of men coalescing back to their spouses, trying to make things right, not necessarily get back together, but help in the process? Or I think there's still work to
The
do.
process of forgiveness.
Yeah, but you find men in general, like in your case, your husband, he's back not with you, but you're friends. You have
Hmm.
children together, so you try to make a good life for everybody. But do you
Hmm.
find in general that men in general help the process, or we still have a way to go?
Are you asking? Do men go through the process of forgiveness?
No. Do you find to
Help
your,
me with my process?
no, with in general, do you find men in general are helping women with the process, or it's still do we still have a way to go?
Well, here's the thing.
Hmm.
Forgiveness is for you,
Right.
and it's an inside job for you to work out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and that's how you can forgive if you're no longer with the person. You can forgive if the person is no longer with us, if the person has gone on and deceased.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody, I think forgiveness is more of a personal and an individual. It
Okay.
depends on what your belief systems are.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand that holding on to whatever negative emotion, behavior, or whatever, if you believe that holding on to you is hurting you, then you as an individual will decide to make a decision to let it go, because a grudge is the heaviest
Mm-hmm.
thing that you can carry. It
Definitely.
inhibits you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a male or a female thing. It's an individual and a human
Individual.
thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Definitely. So it's the only individual. But again, going back to what we said earlier, a lot of people don't have that innate feeling, so they need someone like you, a coach, to help them to come through it, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm the most unlikely person, okay, because my nature is not forgiving, okay. I through going on my life's journey, I discovered, that
Mm-hmm.
I was bitter
Right.
following the death of my father.
Right.
Um, I went to his funeral, and he had been living and suffering with Alzheimer's. So when you go through Alzheimer's, you kind of change little by little. So when I went back to the funeral, there were people that didn't experience him during that change, right? They
Mm-hmm.
remembered him as he used to be.
To be right.
So when I went to his funeral, I remembered my daddy and the great man that he was and the impact that he had on everybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came home and I realized, Stephanie, what are you doing with your life? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have this calling, but you are doing nothing. And so that's when I made a decision to do something with my life. And because I already knew, or was going through a process at the point in time of discovering who I am. And that's when I discovered that I'm a minister of reconciliation.
Wow.
And I'm like, a big problem with that is that I am not necessarily naturally a forgiving person. So how could God call me to do this and be this
Mm-hmm.
when that's not in my nature? Matter of fact, my mother was bitter. Matter of fact, her mother was bitter, you know, and the other side, my dad's side of the family, they have feuds. People in the family, they've been bitter towards each other for so long, they don't even remember why they were mad at each other. So
Wow.
I'm like, okay, God, really? Are you sure this is what you want me to do? And so it has literally been a journey that's changed my life, that's changed because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to draw the line in the sand so I won't pass that trait on to my children.
Right.
I want to pass them money and land, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want them to inherit the bitterness and the
Right.
grudgery and all of that negativity, because they have amazing lives that God wants them to live. But I tell you, you cannot even show up as the person that God designed you to be with this bitterness, with this unforgiveness.
Right.
It really changes your identity.
It does, because it's endemic on you. It can say you. Wonderful. That's a great story. I mean, that takes courage. It takes courage. But in this new world that we have right now, we all have to develop our passions, the things that we want to do. How can we help the world heal? And your story and what you're doing right now is just really, I applaud you for it. Because
Well, I appreciate you, but I didn't want to do it. Okay, Martin?
Mhm.
I did not want to do it.
Wow.
But destiny was calling me. I couldn't let it go.
Wow, wow. That's that's amazing. Because when that little voice speaks to you, right? That little voice,
Yeah,
you listen, and that's what people. We all have a conscious, and
that's right.
that subconscious within us. You know, when some things, because things not always going to be right.
Hmm.
I mean, not always going to be, but you have to follow your passion and purpose. What's my why? What's you
Yes,
ask yourself deep inside? What's my why? What am I living for?
yes.
So I'm an avid reader, and I read a book, you guys, who said that in life we have to look at life as seasons. Say,
Mm.
how many or summers? Guys said, how many summers do I have left?
Wow.
How many summers do I have left? Do I have 20 summers left? Do I have 10 summers left? So if you look at life and how many summers you have left, then you really realize that there's a purpose. Like I
Hmm.
just read a friend of mine in the islands. He just passed last night. He was
Oh,
what,
wow.
8 years younger than 8 years younger than you. He went to college, became a CPA, worked for a large oil company. Life is not promised to anybody. It's not promised
Yeah.
to anybody. And I looked at him and I said, man, he's 5 years younger than I am. We went to school together, and he's gone now. He was
Wow.
highly educated, got an MBA, became a CPA, and just on the blink of an eye, he's gone.
Yeah.
So we all have a purpose. So what's our why? You have a why. I have a why. And once we figure that out, and we figure how can we help someone else? How can you bring up your brother, your sister?
Hmm.
So that's my passion too. I'm on a passion to heal the world with love, share knowledge. Like I tell you, bring on ordinary people like you and I to give who have extraordinary lives, and not be
Hmm.
ordinary people. We have to be extraordinary, not for
Yes.
ourselves, but for everybody else. It's been a real pleasure hearing you. You amaze me. Your story is just kudos. I got to say to you, kudos for what you're doing.
Thank
So
you.
tell the world, tell my audience, if they want to get hold of Stephanie, how do they get a hold of you?
The best place is my website, and you can find a link or tab to my podcast. If you want to talk to me one on one about your own forgiveness journey, there's a link to contact me and access my calendar, but it's all at freedtolove.com. That's FREED, the number two love.com.
Free to love. I was missing that. Free to love. Good, yeah, definitely. And then you also have your Facebook page with the same free to love, or no? Or you just
Yes, everything free to love.
free to love. Wonderful. Just like me, you have to brand yourself. Brand it.
Yes,
Like I'm
yes,
branded all through. Martin Spencer speaks all through the web. I have social media, and that's what we do. But Stephanie,
yes.
it was a real pleasure having you on. I look forward to it. I wanted to hear your story. And like I said, you are not an ordinary person. You're an extraordinary person. And I want you to stay that way and take care of those lovely kids that you have. All
Well,
right?
thank you.
Good,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
So take care. Blessings to you. And if you need me, I can help in any way. I'm here.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thanks
much.
for thanks for having me, Martin.
Oh, my pleasure. You have a great day, okay?
You too.
All right.